Doesn't that sky look angry? Hasn't rained. Well, it has rained, but it's not raining right now since I left. Now I only left a minute ago, but what do you think of that little cafe? It's nice, isn't it? It's pretty good the way they have the books like stacked up in a big pile. Breakfast was nice. Although I probably won't get it tomorrow, just because, you know, I'm not a big breakfast lover. So it's just I have it that one time and I'm happy. So instead for breakfast, like tomorrow, I'll just go down to a cafe, grab a coffee, you know. But I'm trying to plan what I'm doing next as well. At the same time, I was sitting there, like, there's so many options. That's the problem. You know, I was looking at Vietnam for a little bit, but you need a visa and you have to have you know, you have to have accommodation booked and stuff like that. It's so cheap to fly there and all, but you're just hoping then, look, if you book the flights and accommodation and then they say actually there's a problem with the visa, you have to, you know, there's a delay and stuff like that. It's, but we'll see, we'll figure something out. I am kind of toying with the idea of heading back into Japan, but I don't know, it might not make sense from going to Japan and then leaving it again. It might be too awkward, like finding flights, finding where to go. So I'm not really sure about that. I would like to. I love Japan. For an electric bus, that was very loud. Yeah, I love Japan, but it just, logistics wise, it might not be the best option. But we'll see. I'll 100% book something today. We're even beside the main road here, and you've got this little plot of land grown by cabbage by the looks of it. Right beside the main road. Actually, I was walking by here yesterday and there was a little guard dog. He didn't look like he was doing much guarding, but he was here. So yeah, that's the plan for now. I'm gonna head down towards, well, straight in this direction like I went yesterday, but I'm gonna just go straight down basically to the waterfront. Didn't see it from the airport coming in on the bus. The bus cuts through neighborhoods, so yeah, just gonna go down and see what it looks like. It's always nice to walk along a coastal area unless it starts raining. But of course, the great thing about Korea is there's coffee shops everywhere if it starts raining, so I can deal with that. Anyway, enough waffle from me. Let's make a move on down to the water side. I had a different plan today, actually. I'm just gonna go all the way in that direction to the mountain. Halasan, I think it's called Halasan. But of course, this weather today, if it's going to be raining throughout the day, it's definitely not worth doing a hike. So that can wait, possibly tomorrow. Again, just depends on the weather. So yeah, that's the plan at the moment. Look at the size of that. Oh my god. I'm absolutely stuffed after that. Oh my god. Oh, so full. I was there for over an hour sitting there drinking it, you know, because as well as that, when you're drinking it and the ice is gradually melting, you know, it's replacing what's already in the cup. So it's like a never-ending bloody drink. But it was lovely. It may be a bit too sweet at the end. Or no, sorry, at the start. At the end it was better because it diluted a bit with the ice. But I'm going to make my way over to a shrine area, which sounds pretty cool. It's pretty old, especially for like Jeju, you know, it's not really known for its shrines. So I'm going to take a little walk over there, just check it out. It's over, I have to cross and go to the right. It's beside the folklore museum here, which I might actually pop into. I'll see. If it's small or something, I'll just pop in, but if it's a big one, I might just wait till tomorrow. I've been sitting in that cafe looking up where to go next. I'm thinking, like, do I even bother going to Daegu? Maybe I do. I've already booked the flight, but it was €9, you know, so we'll see if I cancel it or not. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what to do. I've been looking at China, which I do plan on going back to on this trip. I at least will leave to go back to Ireland from China, but I'm not sure if I want to go yet. I have been looking at Vietnam, but yeah, it's the visa thing, as I mentioned already, so not exactly sure how that's going to plan out. There's other places I could go. Could check out Thailand, but you know, the party scene in Bangkok is not my thing. I guess there's probably things there that aren't the party part, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure something out. I always do, even if it's stressful for me. So I'm gonna make my way over that way. So I've just come into the Samseonghyeol. At least that's the way I think it's pronounced. This place was actually established back in the 1500s, which is pretty cool. They've got these traditional buildings here. They've got games you can play from that era. Obviously, you can get your photo taken. It's a cool looking place. I don't know if you can go in, but it does. I don't know. I think it might be closed. But they're lovely looking buildings, very different from the ones that, like, for example, when you go to Japan, you know, and you're going around the temple area, they're quite different looking. As a matter of fact, this area here, these buildings, were students learning places for Confucianism, which is pretty cool. I don't know what that is, but it looks cool. You'll see all around this place, they've got these small, you can't record inside, it says no photography, but they've got these kind of small little information rooms around, so it gives you a history of the place. But it's quite interesting because we're going to go this direction now, and there's this area with 3 holes in the ground, okay? And the 3 holes are supposed to be where these 3 demigods came from. They emerged from there way back in God knows when, the 1500s. Way before that even, actually. I think this place was set up in the 1500s, so it was before that. And they were supposed to have emerged from there, and they lived up that direction on Halasan, the mountain that I want to go to. Well, hopefully tomorrow if the weather is good. But anyway, they went up there, they lived up there, they led a life of foraging basically, so hunting, picking berries, picking fruit, you know, the usual. And then eventually 3 princesses came along from the Byeoknang region, I believe. Byeoknang is the right pronunciation, and they brought 5 different types of grain with them and some livestock, and they married the 3 demigods. And because they brought this grain along, they started the agriculture here, and so it was believed that they started the Tamna kingdom, which was the ancient civilization or ancient kingdom here in this region. So it's quite interesting, this place. So we go and check out, I think it's this direction. It should be this direction anyway. So there's going to be the holes in the ground where they're said to have emerged from, which is it's pretty cool. I don't know what it looks like, I haven't seen it, but I will see it in a minute, I hope. So it's quite a nice place to walk around. Here we are, hold on. I don't know if you can actually walk in there. I think there's only a viewing platform here. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, you know what, we'll walk up. Oh, I've almost stepped down there. You could have witnessed an injury. So I'll walk up here and we'll have a little look in, because it is blocked off. Obviously it is a site of historical significance here in Jeju. Yeah, you can see from here one of the holes at least. Hold on, we'll move a bit closer. Can we see 3 of them from up here? That's the question. I think I can only see 2. Well, I can see the indentation of 1. So these 3 holes here is where the 3 demigods are supposed to have emerged from. That's why they've built Samseonghyeol, if my pronunciation is right. So they built this area kind of as a worship area to those demigods who helped to, I guess, give birth to life basically on Jeju Island. Pretty cool. And these stones, they kind of look like they're tilted in facing and nearly like they're bowing or something, you know. It's very interesting. I'd love to be able to go up to it, but obviously there's no way, and I'm not gonna just do it for the sake. I'm not gonna hop over the fence over there. But you can see people are leaving these here as well. It's pretty cool. This kind of looks like lava rock. I'm not sure if I don't think there's a volcano on this island. Then again, most islands come from volcanoes, right? Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling on. But yeah, that's the history of this place. It's pretty interesting, and it's so important in Jeju's history, the island's history. You know, this is it's actually the most important place because this is the birth of Jeju. The people here. Yeah, it's fascinating for me. Maybe it's not for you, but you know, if you wanted to know more about Jeju, that's why you're watching this video, maybe. It's really a lovely peaceful area in here, considering like you're actually in the heart of Jeju city. You know, I mean, not far over that direction is the night market that I went to, and yeah, it's just, you're right in the heart of it, but it's still lovely to hear the birds chirping. You know, it feels like a out of the way kind of place. And you know, if you're in Jeju, like, it costs what, 4,000 won to come in here. It says about €2, €2.50, and you get like 45 minutes of walking around, enjoying it. Go into the exhibition hall, or whatever they're called, multimedia hall I think they're called. Go there, you know, you've got 45 minutes worth of entertainment basically for €2. It's well worth it. There's some kind of a grave here, or at least we'll figure this out ourselves. I don't know anything about this, but there is a little information board which I'll check out. I won't make you read it, I'll just read it and I'll tell you. Okay, so I went over, I had to actually translate it, it's in Korean, but these are essentially memorials to all of Jeju's governors who have helped kind of develop this place and protect it and keep it the way it is now. It's quite interesting. You know, they get the memorials for example, helping to install certain walls around to protect like the holes in the ground, for example, keeping the trees maintained, you know, stuff like that. So all those little plaques are for the different governors who have helped to maintain Samseonghyeol, basically. My god, I hope I'm not pronouncing that really wrong. It looks like that when it's anglicized, so that's the way I'm gonna say it. I am sorry if anyone is Korean and watching this. I'm very, very sorry, but still, that's the way I'm gonna say it. Autumn has certainly come along here to Jeju, which, as I said yesterday, it's nice, but it's such a shock coming from Kaohsiung where it was so warm, so humid, and now I've got my jacket on. You know, if I'd have thought of putting a jacket on in Kaohsiung, I would have died, but heat stroke, I'd say. But yeah, I know I'm not in Kaohsiung anymore, but I just want to say that it's really a great city. I'd highly recommend it. I'd highly recommend Taiwan in general. Lovely place, people are great. I'll definitely be going back, no question about that, because there's still a lot to see, you know. I just went to the 2 main cities, but there's Tainan, which is the old capital, which I will go to next time as well. I'll get another tour from Jessica hopefully next time, a better, like, bigger tour, not just the food market. Get her to show me around, show me where the locals kind of go, you know, so that I can be like the only tourist some people have ever seen, maybe. Yeah, so this is lovely here. Actually, on the 10th of December here every year they have a ceremony the governor, I believe, of Jeju, and all the usual crowds, you know, the local government, they come along and they hold a ceremony here. So it's basically to offer the blessings for the good health of the people of Jeju, which is, that's nice, isn't it? Keeps a bit of tradition going. So we've just come out of the folklore museum here. It's just over there, and I want to take a little walk around the park, but it's a very interesting place because it also tells you a bit about Jeju's kind of colonial past as well. So of course, when before Japan annexed Korea, Jeju was kind of like it wasn't really an important place, if you know what I mean, for the Korean government. Like, it was kind of a place where people went in exile, really. So it was a place that you could go to, but it was hard to get away from, which is quite interesting. But I'll just keep walking this way. But yeah, so when the Japanese took over, then they started to turn Jeju kind of like Kaohsiung. They started to build it up to aid its military power, you know, using the port obviously to its advantage, and then building up the infrastructure, but only at the port, so the rest of the place kind of suffered. And then after the colonial period finished, so after World War II, basically, it was given back to Korea. It was liberated, essentially. But, you know, it still had the scars of colonialization because the infrastructure wasn't good, everything wasn't good, healthcare was poor, you know, because all that was an afterthought. The only thought for the Japanese was, how can I aid them? There's music up ahead, but yeah, it's a very fascinating little museum. We'll talk a little bit now, a bit more about Jeju also had a turbulent past after World War II, when the Korean War started. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to see what the music is and this statue. Look at that, so that represents the natives that were here in Jeju. As a matter of fact, I think it might be a representation of the three demigods. Could be, makes sense. What way will I walk? I'll keep going this way. But so sorry about that, I got distracted because the music. I'm going to go and investigate it a little bit. But after World War II, when Jeju and Korea were liberated from the Japanese, there was still kind of, you know, unrest here, because then not long after that the Korean War came along, and the people here weren't happy because there was proposed elections that they weren't in support of. There was the separation of Korea, all this kind of thing, you know, the infrastructure not being so good here, it all built up, and eventually there was something called the Jeju incident. So, sorry if it's loud here, the Korean government, along with the Allied forces, had basically suppressed the people of Jeju, and there was upwards of 25,000 casualties here, which is kind of terrible, you know what I mean? Obviously it is terrible, not kind of terrible, but you know, you always think the Allied forces, yeah, they're good, but you know, they did some pretty nasty things as well. War has two sides, you know, it's not one side just right and one side just wrong. But so it's interesting that when you're going around Jeju, because obviously Jeju, it's a volcanic island, and it's a beautiful place, you know, it's loads of greenery. You can walk down, we'll go down to the seafront, you know, but like it still has it has that history of colonialism, you know. It's pretty bad history. All colonialism is terrible, obviously, but you know, the Jeju, I mean, it's a small population. What chance have they got against big forces that come up against them? You know, they have no hope. There's loads of little horses in here. I don't know what it is. It's Sunday though, so I guess there's probably like a little festival on. Yeah, so I just wanted to give you a little insight into the Jeju incident. So 25,000 people killed, upwards of 25,000. It's terrible. Everywhere I seem to go, there's bloody, after being massacres or some kind of horrible government slayings of innocent people. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that was just a little bit of history that I was reading about in the museum there. So I'd say if you are in Jeju, go to the museum. It's quite interesting. I didn't show you inside the museum because what can you do? You know, when you go into a museum, what I mean, what am I going to go up and show you this? And you know what I mean? It's not like there's no value in it. Like it's just better off telling you a little bit afterwards. At least that's how I feel. This is obviously just a Sunday market here. As a matter of fact, Sunday in Korean, I saw something advertised called Sunday soup, and it was spelled like ice cream sundae, and I was like, oh, it's ice cream soup? Is it like, maybe it's like a liquidy dairy product? But no, Sundae turns out to be a sausage in Korean, or a blood sausage, I think. So don't get fooled. Yes, I got another coffee, iced Americano. I know that coffee I had earlier was absolutely huge, but you know what? I just love coffee. So who cares? Drink as much of it as you want. YOLO, right? Yeah, so this cost 2,500 won, €1.30 maybe. Pretty damn good. So we're almost at the riverside. I'm gonna walk over that way and kind of follow the river. I should say we're at the seaside. We're going to follow the river up along and then cross over the bridge further up that way. And that monument is actually a memorial to the 3,000 people from Jeju who signed up and enrolled into the Marine Corps during the Korean War, and it's pointed towards the North Harbour where they would have taken off from. It's a nice little area, isn't it? Nice and colourful. Somebody was enjoying their bottle of makgeolli here. It wasn't me. I wouldn't leave a bottle there like that. So I've just come up to the seaside here. Look at the amount of fishing boats here. It's crazy. I'm gonna walk around here. Apparently there's like a park, I guess. It looks like a park on the map. A seaside park. Just walk along a bit. See if there is actually anything. You know, sometimes Google Maps is actually not very good here in Korea. You need to use Naver. But Naver is also pretty crap sometimes because you have to type in Korean. Well, you don't have to, but it gives you better search results if you search in Korean. So, oh, it's getting windy out here. Still no rain yet. But I love the smell when you're coming past all those fishing trawlers, fishing boats, whatever. You know, you get that. As I said, I don't like the ocean, but I love being beside it. So I love the smell of the fish. There's fish markets there. There's also fish here. There's all fish restaurants along here. Obviously it makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, you can't get it fresher when you think of it. It's coming from right there. Yeah, they work hard, I tell you, the Koreans, especially the older people. Like they're running restaurants when they're bloody 80, 90. The Japanese do it too, but I mean, here I've seen it more. You know, it's a bit more run down here, of course. Not run down, but it's, you know, I'd say it's not as, it hasn't had as much time to develop as Japan has. Let's just say that. Kind of starting to rain now a little bit, but I was just walking there. I've been walking down along the waterside here, and I was thinking, where would I rank this Jeju island in my Korean experience? Now I've only been 3 places, so it's a top 3 technically. I think I'd rank it above Seoul. I think I'd put Busan as my favorite place, just because it's a bit more normal, you know. The people are normal there. it's not just about the big city life, you know. They're kind of, it's a bit of character in the city. And then I put this close because I suppose the atmosphere is similar, but it being a fishing port, you know, it's kind of relies on fishing, or it used to at least rely on that for basically survival. So yeah, I think what I've done so far, I'd do Busan first. Oh, rain on the lens. Hold on, let me get you. Now, Busan, favourite place that I've been so far. Then Jeju, then Seoul. I'm sure, as I said, a lot of people love Seoul. You know, I'm not gonna judge it if you like it or not. You should like it if you like it. You know, maybe there's something there that appeals to you more than it did to me. I just, you know, as I said before, it just felt soulless. Sorry, that's so bad. But yeah, no, I like Jeju. It's kind of, it just has character. It has a bit of charm. You can tell that it's not as developed as some of the other places. Like even Busan is, you know, when you're walking around Busan, it's, you know, it looks poor, at least compared to Seoul. But then again, I found Seoul very dirty. People spitting everywhere. I know they do that in China as well, but I didn't, you know, young people like just spitting, women and all. Not that women aren't allowed to spit, that's not what I'm saying, but you know, usually if you're see it in China, it's older people doing it that have kind of grown up in the countryside and kept those habits going. But like, you know, teenagers in Korea, in Seoul at least, I was walking around, I can see them, you know, the women, boys, you know, like, and then spitting. I was like, no, come on. Older people, it's already bad enough, but at least you can kind of give, you know, old people do whatever the hell they want, don't they? They don't really care about what anyone thinks. Maybe they're right, but yeah, I just found, you know, these places down by the sea, they're alright. Like as I said, Busan is looks a bit poorer, you know, it looks a bit underdeveloped. Even if it's not, it has the look. The buildings on the outside are a bit more worn out, but it gives a charm, you know. At least for me, I kind of like that, walking around, you know, all these little buildings, small houses, people sitting out talking to each other like old neighbours. I don't think you really get much of that in Seoul because of how much of a metropolis it is. So I think any big city loses that kind of a charm, no matter where it is. It's just the unfortunate downside of being a big city. People lose kind of connection, and you have, just say Busan or Jeju here, you see old people sitting outside their shops, they're talking with each other. It still has a kind of a community sense. But I'll stop rambling on. This was just a little walk around Jeju today. Walk around, you've probably seen more of me than you have of the actual place. I do apologise for that, but you know, sometimes I like to ramble on and I can't help it. It's just who I am. So I still have to figure out where the hell I'm gonna go next. I'll figure it out. As I said, I always figure out something in the end, even if I struggle and stress about it. I'm not stressed about it, I'll find out. I'll find something one way or another. Even if I stay in... no, I'm not going to stay in Jeju an extra night. I don't think I will. Tomorrow actually the weather's supposed to be good, or decent, so at least you can get a bit more done without worrying about this rain. Anyway, look, we'll leave it there. Call it a day. I'm going to head back soon. It's going to start getting dark very soon. It gets dark very quick here. So yeah, we'll resume tomorrow, when hopefully we can do a bit more outside of the main city. Once the weather is good, that's it, you know. I've got my little travel card, so we take a bus out somewhere maybe and just explore a bit more the last full day that I have in Jeju. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll finish off my coffee and then I'll head back. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.